Many businesses and entertainers letting North Carolina know that they are not in favor of the so-called bathroom law. And the list of those companies choosing to boycott doing business in North Carolina is growing. But not everyone is against it. ESPN fired former pitcher Curt Schilling after a Facebook post in which he appeared to support the bill that is opposed by the LGBT community. Is this law bad for business? Let's bring in Kerri Kupec of the Alliance Defending Freedom. She is in favor of the North Carolina rights law. And Tim Giuliani, the CEO of the Greater Raleigh Chamber of Commerce, he says the law is bad for business. Welcome to both of you. Mr. Giuliani, let me begin by asking you, what has been the effect so far on business in North Carolina? That's number one. And does anything in this law prohibit a business from establishing its own policies regarding who can use which bathroom or locker room facility and when?
Yeah, well, North Carolina has an outstanding reputation across the globe, and particularly Research Triangle, for attracting great companies, able to attract a really great workforce in our community. We have a very talented, diverse, educated workforce. And so the message that this bill has sent has changed some opinions. And so we are coming out in favor of repealing the bill so that we're able to repair our reputation that we've rightfully earned for so many years. And to your question about does this change what business is able to do? And so the impact it's having is that it changed state law in how employees are able to seek court on if they're terminated for something to deal with a discrimination case. So if they're a woman, if they're gay,
but
transgender.
my questions were two, and I respectfully would like to come back to you on both of them. Number one, what have been the tangible effects, the quantifiable effects that you have seen with respect to businesses either not doing business there, pulling out, not hiring when they said they were going to hire? And does this law, narrowly speaking, I realize that there are other anti-discrimination provisions in it, but with respect to a company, a private employer in its facilities making its own rules governing the use of the restrooms, what's happened there? What's happened?
Okay, so the tangible benefits we've seen a reversal of decision by PayPal to come into Charlotte with an expansion of 440 jobs. In Kerri, North Carolina, we've seen 250 jobs by Deutsche Bank change course, and so they at this time are not expanding into North Carolina. We've had a tech company that was looking at our area and considering relocation of up to 1,000 jobs change their decision. So there have been very tangible benefits, and that speaks right to our economic development mission, but it's also impacting in tourism, where we've had conventions cancel, and more are considering that option if the bill is not changed. So we've seen very tangible.
Let me bring in Kerri here and get you to address both the business effects that you have heard of and seen as a result of this law, and whether you dispute whether those effects are actually real and quantifiable. And second, why do you think this law is defensible in an era when the state clearly wants to have commerce and be inclusive? Why is it defensible?
I think it's really sad that the Raleigh Chamber of Commerce is taking this position. The Raleigh Chamber of Commerce is supposed to be representing the interest of small businesses, and small businesses in North Carolina very much favor HB2. Why? Because HB2 is good for business. It allows small businesses to make decisions such as, do they want to open their bathrooms and restrooms and locker rooms to anyone who wants to identify, as male or female. If they want to do that, they're free to do so. If they don't want to do so, they're also free to do so. As CNBC and Forbes and many reputable outlets have said, less restriction is good for business. Freedom is good for business, which is why North Carolina has always had one of the top economies in the state. But what's bad for business is caving into big corporations, bullies, who are currently going after North Carolina small businesses, going after the people of North Carolina.
How are they going after small businesses, Kerri? I mean, they may be opposed to this law, but I don't know how they would be directly targeting small businesses. And what about the question that this is de facto discriminatory against transgender people?
Well, it's absolutely not. And for starters, numerous small businesses have written a letter and joined a coalition that support HB2. But what these big businesses are saying is, look, we are free to operate according to our values. And apparently their values include letting men into women's locker rooms. But they are determined to extinguish that same freedom for small businesses. And these same corporations, let's look at PayPal, for example. They are doing business with countries that currently execute people who identify as LGBT. They are currently doing business with countries that don't even allow women to drive and are determining whether it should be a legal right for women. So I think these businesses and corporations need to take a good, hard look in the mirror before they start bullying the small businesses and the people of North Carolina, and quite frankly, bullying the millions of women like myself who understandably and justifiably feel concerned about the thought of a man in my locker room with me.
She raises interesting points, Tim. I'm going to ask you to make it quick. Are big businesses, in this instance, bullying small businesses the way Kerri describes?
Well, I represent an organization that has over 80% of our members as small businesses, and we had overwhelming support to take this position, so I would disagree.
All right, folks, thank you very much. We'll come back to this one, I'm sure, as this controversy simmers along. Kerri, Tim, we appreciate it.